Hey there YouTube, Axel753 here with my thoughts regarding Michael Bay. Now this is the first of a series of videos that I'll do regarding, well, actually my thoughts in different matters, usually about movies and nerdy different things. I did these before with my old channel, but now I don't have my old channel, so, it's starting fresh. And this topic, honestly, is something not huge to me, but it's something that's been bugging me over the last few days. So I thought I'd talk about it, and who the better to talk about it with the internet and my, the 5 people who are going to watch this. But, hey, you gotta start somewhere. So anyways, although it's a little bit hard for me to get past, there are actually people out there who don't know that there's a series of movies out there called Transformers. And that means that there are actually fewer people that know about the guy who directed the films, Michael Bay. So, to sum it up, Michael Bay, this director, did Transformers, the 2007 film, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, the 2009 sequel, and the final movie in the trilogy, Transformers Dark of the Moon. And these films, obviously, they came over the last few years, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them for 2 reasons. 1, because they were entertaining, and 2, because as a fan of the Transformers franchise, a huge fan of the Transformers franchise, it was good to finally see the characters being brought to life. So, for that, I have to give Michael Bay some credit. Now, of course, there are some obvious flaws with the movies that he's made. Speaking of which, by the way, other films that he's done that you might know are Bad Boys 1 and 2, Armageddon, The Island. I think that's all I know off the top of my head. And, yeah. So, Michael Bay did the Transformers movies over the last few years, and people have been wondering, well, what are they going to do with the franchise now? For the last few months, there's been a lot of speculations about, sorry, my eye's itching, about what's going to happen to the franchise next. And in recent months, like a little bit sooner, or a little bit closer to this date, Michael Bay hinted at the idea of doing Transformers 4. Now, obviously, with how the final movie ended, the 3rd movie, you gotta wonder, well, what's left for them to do. And just after Michael Bay expressed a desire to do Transformers 4, some of the cast began to talk, the cast from the original trilogy, well, not the original trilogy, but the trilogy that he did, began to discuss what they knew about the film, and from their understanding, it was going to be somewhat of a reboot. So, it's the 4th live-action Transformers film, the 5th overall Transformer film of all time, because it was an animated one back in the 80s. But, it was going to be somewhat of a reboot. Now, that's exciting, obviously. Like the Hulk, Batman, and Spider-Man, there was a little bit of a concern, obviously, because if you're rebooting a franchise, you probably want to give it some time to ruminate, to make these films accessible to people. But as with Batman, Spider-Man, and the Hulk, the franchise, because of the people who own the franchises, they wanted to keep making money. They wanted to continue piquing people's interests, and it looked like Transformers 4 was going to come out. Now, this is where my big point comes about this video. Michael Bay just released the other day online that he's decided that he's going to take on a different franchise, and this is a thing that's bothering the hell out of me. Well, no, not this part. The first part of it is Michael Bay has decided that instead of doing Transformers 4, he is going to invest his time and money and directing skills into doing a live-action adaptation and rebooting the movie series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, obviously, that was a cartoon back in the 80s and a comic and a toy line, too. Very similar to Transformers, but it's going to be another live-action film. And these live-action films haven't been out since 1993, I believe. So, there's something new. I mean, you're going to be doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's something that hasn't really been touched on in the last few years. There was an animated film back in 2007, and there was a cartoon that ran for many years after 2003. But the franchise kind of cooled down after 2008ish. So, anyways, so Michael Bay wants to do this franchise, wants to do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, if you read online, and I'll probably provide a link, not only has he decided to use the words, I believe, cuddly and family friendly. I'm pretty sure he used at least one of those 2 words to describe his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's also decided that instead of the turtles being mutated by an ooze, as they were in all adaptations, that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in his franchise are going to be aliens. And I shit you not, everyone out there is watching, that is what he said. So, words cannot describe, not my disappointment, but my complete outlook on why would you do this? So, I mean, he's got some skills. I will give him that. I mean, he knows how to work with special effects. He has worked with some good actors, and he's not completely opposed to keeping to the original stuff, the source material, especially when he did Transformers. Like, notorious characters came, mostly because of the fans, but also because he accepted their role in the story, which means that it's not like, characters are going to be morphed too far out of their original roles. But anyways, so, I mean, if this is true, this is absolutely insane, because, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a great story. Now I'm not talking about the cartoon, the 1980s cartoon, which skyrocketed the franchise into mainstream. I'm talking more about I've got a cat over here. Yeah. I'm talking about the original source material, the Mirage comics, that existed, that started the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that had a great story. You're not getting up there. She's trying to get on top of the webcam, or she's trying to jump up into the desk and onto the webcam. But Mirage's original comics were fantastic, and I mean, if he can keep like even an ounce of that, I'd be happy. But I don't know if he will. So, I'm all kinds of nervous. Here in a second. I'm all kinds of nervous. I'm all kinds of nervous about what he's gonna do with, these characters that have kind of they're already very well defined, and knowing what he's done before, there's a little bit of worry in me about, like, is he gonna make, not to sound rude, but is he gonna turn the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into Teenage Mutant Ninja Gangsters, or Teenage Mutant Ninja, Teenage Mutant Gangster Turtle, Teenage Mutant Gangster Turtles, or Teenage Mutant Thug Turtles, or Teenage Mutant Hipster Turtles, or, plus there's always a little bit it goes by different words, not different words, but I mean, he can be a little bit racist, and he can be extremely stereotypical. In the Transformers movies, there's this duo called Skids and Mudflap, the twins, and they're there's a mix of, like, thug gangster sort of guy, and there's also an ounce of like very bad image of African American, you know what I mean, like, it doesn't look good. I don't want to say any, like, bad words, but anyways, but there is a little bit of hope in me. I mean, this is completely far out there, but I'd really like to hear your opinion. I'd really like you to comment below on not only your thoughts on this, but the following question. If there is a franchise of any sort that you'd like to see Michael Bay or a certain director do, what is it and why? Now, if Michael Bay was to say, what childhood franchise can I bring back? Can I spring back into mainstream's attention? I would probably have to say, now, hear me out here. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original stuff. And I know that the Power Rangers have still going on to this date, with a few bumps along the road. But just think about this. Michael Bay's biggest points, both good and bad, are one, the fact that he's great with special effects, and that's partially because of his team. Two, he loves military plots. He loves the military. Three, explosions. He can't live without them. And four, he bases his characters very stereotypically. So, special effects, we've got our transformation sequences, our Zords, our stuff like that. Military concepts. We wouldn't be seeing the Power Rangers in spandex. We'd be seeing them in some sort of an armor, just like they were in the original movie from 1993, 1994, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Explosions. Power Rangers are notorious for explosions. If they're doing a pose, if they're beating up a monster, actually, even as monsters explode as they're defeated, there you go. And four, stereotypically, the original Power Rangers back in 1994 were so stereotypical. I mean, I can enjoy franchises for different elements, but you can't watch too much into the franchise without noticing flaws like that. And I mean, the original team, which was made up of the red jock, the blue nerd, the pink girly girl, the yellow foreigner, and to top it off, the black African American hip hop. Yeah. So, if the original franchise was based off of that stereotypical element, then fans would be okay with seeing Michael Bay doing what he does with the original 5 Rangers. And that's just my opinion. I mean, there's so many other franchises that you could see. I mean, for those of you who don't know about it, there's a movie out called John Carter right now. And although John Carter is based on a series of books and comics from many years ago, I look at the film and I see several elements that could prove that, we could do like a live-action He-Man movie, and it wouldn't look half bad. I mean, it all depends on the story. Other films, people have always wondered about a Voltron live-action, and people have always wondered about a Thundercats live-action. I mean, there's, but, there are a lot of different, mostly cartoon franchises that, that people would like to see done. And for every good franchise, or every idea that is finally brought to light that we're excited about, there's always those few cartoons that we don't like to talk about, like Yogi Bear, Smurfs. There's another one that I can't think of. I'm going to say Scooby-Doo, but those ones were completely terrible because they accepted how bad they were. Like, not how bad they were, but how stereotypical they were. I mean, the characters were wearing the same clothes, they were saying the same lines, they were acting very cartoony when they were playing the roles. Whereas the Smurfs and Yogi Bear tried to be, I guess, realistic, or tried to pretend that they weren't as cartoony as they actually were. But anyways, so yeah, what do you guys think Michael Bay or any director could touch and bring either to live action or bring to a cartoon, depending on what kind of a franchise it is, to the big screen, and you think would be successful? I mean, I've got 1,000 ideas off the top of my head that, I could write down as some sort of a fan fiction, but they'll never come about. Plus, if I write them all online, then that just seems a little bit weird. But not saying fan fictions are weird, but just saying that if you're just writing a whole bunch of screenplays and posting them online, then that's not really using your talent to the best of your ability. Anyways, so that's just my thoughts regarding this whole Michael Bay situation. I have no idea what's going to go on with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know that there's a new cartoon coming out for it later this year, so I mean, maybe there's like a timing thing going on. And as for Transformers 4, no idea what's going on with that. If there's a reboot with a new director and all that, hey, I'm all for it. I want to see these characters come to life again and again. I mean, some are going to be better than others, but anyways. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you later, YouTube.